so much for allowing us to come and film this morning. For everyone watching, if you can just give us a bit of an introduction to who you are and your business, and then we'll talk about the design
cool.
itself.
So my name's Daniel Althaus, and I run my own little business, Althaus Landscape Designs. We sort of focus on more naturalistic elements in planting, mainly native. But yeah, I always try and push the boundaries a little bit in clients' gardens and try and create something that's unique for them. I think that's pretty important and something that we try and push, and all the while using natives.
And so you have a style. You'd use that fair to say you have your own style?
Yeah, I think I say we've, but it's me.
Yeah. I say we all the time. I'm just saying we since there was one. Sorry.
Yeah. So look,
it's an inclusive attitude, I think.
Yeah, sure. No, I think that's the style that I've really tried to lean into, just because, look, I really enjoy creating a garden that the wildlife can enjoy as well. And I think it creates a fourth or fifth dimension of a garden. When you start putting things like water in the garden, or putting little logs or something like that kind of bring in little critters, and then you get the kookaburras and you get the birds, and
so you got an audio visual.
Exactly right. There's lots of other dimensions to the garden. It's not just here is a hardscape, here is some plants, we're done.
Yep.
There's a lot more thought that goes into the gardens that I try and create.
So this is in the boutique garden competition?
Yeah, this is, yeah.
What's this design called?
So this design here is called Mother Ocean. And
inspired by your experiences with the ocean, or?
Yeah, look, I think I started with the prelim sketch, and I just wanted to kind of, first off, do something quite unique, and something that hasn't really been done before. And I think having a show garden at the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show is a really good space to do that. Yeah. So it started with that, and I don't know what came into my head, but I really wanted to create this wave. I've always loved the ocean, but we really wanted to kind of have a bit of a different planting palette to like a coastal garden or whatever. So
it would have been easy to kind of go wave and therefore coastal plants.
Yeah, exactly right. But we've really tried to mix up the planting palette here. Everything here is native. So yeah, it's a bit different, and I think people are genuinely kind of shocked when they see this garden, and I tell them that every element of it is native.
I'm not a horticulturalist by any means, and I see when I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because it doesn't look. I think sometimes when people say native, they think gum leaves, and dry grasses, and like brown grey tones rather than lush green.
Exactly right. So, and that's something that I've really tried to promote, because I mean, look, I do use a lot of those earthier tones and stuff in a lot of my client gardens, but I think we have so many amazing like rainforest plants, like the Dixonias in the back there, a lot of tree ferns, a lot of other ferns that are native to Australia that we can sort of utilize and kind of balance up with that. And like the front of the garden is, although native, it's all sun loving. So you can mix that rainforest, shade tolerant with the sun tolerant kind of plants. So that was the kind of showcase that I really wanted to kind of put out there, is mixing up the plant palette a little bit.
It's always interesting when you talk to someone about their garden, close to their garden, and as I'm talking, I'm seeing more things.
Yeah,
and I think that's one of the great things about it. And
yeah.
This water features just subtly.
Yeah.
And I think that water features need to be, I guess, almost seen and not heard, but they need to be heard.
Yeah.
Just
a little bit.
You don't really, like the water feature that's in the fountain over there has just gone nuts.
Exactly right. Yeah. It's like a wave in itself.
It's a distraction rather than
exactly right.
Like I don't even know what the right word is, but like it should assist with everything, not detract from everything.
Exactly right. And that was something that I also wanted to do with this garden, obviously with the big kind of red path to really drag you in. But as it dragged you in, I wanted people to get lost in the garden and really find those finer details.
Those poles have
misters.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just looked at that. I'm like, hang on, that's not just a metal pole.
Yeah. So, that was pretty tricky to create that.
You had to weld a thread into it.
Well, they're PVC pipes.
Oh, wow.
And I had to bore holes in that. And
Just the right size.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, then like Ferropray, just mister nozzles in there.
Yeah.
Without blocking them.
Yeah. It's been a time.
That's interesting. So they can irrigate.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's irrigation all the way through. Obviously, because we've got live moss, we actually got the moss from a guy called Coda Moss, and he's pretty much the only moss supplier in all of Australia.
Sounds very boutique.
Yeah. So he came in and he spent 2 days hanging moss upside down, which I knew was going to take some time, and I knew was going to be really tricky.
Yep.
But I think it kind of, everyone that comes through is just like,
I'm guessing he wants to highlight, like if he's selling
100%.
moss,
Yeah.
this is a good opportunity to highlight his product.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. So he's, yesterday I had some people come in that were terrarium lovers, and they were like, I know the moss, like, they're the guys.
Such a unique thing.
Yeah. So yeah, look, it's fun. It's kind of playful. But yeah, there's lots of little details and stuff.
And obviously, this is not your only style, right? If people want to find out more, you've got Instagram, I'm guessing, flooded.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, although I am kind of going down the path of that native style, like there's a garden coming up in Mount Helen in Ballarat, which is quite rural, and I'm doing a Buddhist monk garden.
Wow.
It's 3 acres. And yeah, it's going to have elements of natives, but also melding that, the design styles and the planting palettes of, has oriental themes. And again, like with the red path and the red elements in this garden, it has that, Japanese, design element in it. They use a lot of, the red versus the green, and having that really nice contrast. And even though it's quite an aggressive colour, it really softens everything. Like the green and the red kind of complement each other.
Yeah, I can't imagine it not being there. Like, I think I don't know, I'm not a designer by any means, but I guess I'm a human and I can see it. Like, okay, if that wasn't there, it might just get
lost.
It doesn't get the light that it deserves.
Yeah.
It's almost like this is the spotlight now.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And it's been interesting to hear some of the comments from the general public. A few people are like, well, I wouldn't have chosen red. But if you think in your brain, what other colour would you put that?
Yeah.
It gets washed out. Yeah. Imagine putting blue there or yellow or something like that. It just gets washed. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like it's.
But gold also goes down the Japanese style again.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
A race that's that old.
Yeah.
Probably learnt some stuff over
Exactly right. And that's something that I really try and do with, again, my client gardens, is trying to meld different design principles, all the while still using natives.
Yeah.
So you're bringing the wildlife in, but you're having really cool and unique design elements that people wouldn't necessarily think of.
So you built it with help?
Yeah, with help. Yeah, so I teamed up with KlayCon Landscape Construction. So Eugene and I spent, I think, months before we actually got here.
Doing all the framework.
All the framework, yeah. So these pavers here were in 9x6s, and we cut them, tumbled them.
You tumbled them?
Yeah. It was, look, I don't want to tumble another.
Shit you guys decide to do just blows my mind. Like, can't you just buy that tile?
I don't think you can. Yeah. So it's tricky, man.
Because the shitty thing that might occur is that someone will be like, I really like that. Can you do 180 square meters of it at my house? You're like,
yeah, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but but no, look, when it comes to like the actual design intent, this corner where these pavers are, that was meant to kind of represent sort of traditional landscaping with the hardscaping and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And having that metaphorical wave of, I guess, the shift of landscaping as an industry and trying to push the different plant palettes.
It's interesting to see the choices of some designers to go down a path of risk.
Yeah.
So I see almost, and I'm kind of like working this out while I'm saying it, but you've got people that come here and build what they build because they know that it will give them more work, or the work that they want to do. Then you've got people that build risky but close to what they do because they want to take a chance, but they also have they want to make sure they get some work. And then you've got these other designers that are like, I don't care about the competition or the medals. This is for the public. I have something I want to show the world, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and look, I think going into this, I knew that this was a risky design, and I knew it probably wasn't going to get the medals and the accolades and all that kind of thing, but it was one of those things where you just want to put it out there and say, hey, listen, it's a wild design, but you can cherry pick elements of it and use it in your own garden.
It's really to highlight your capabilities and your...
Exactly right.
I guess how elastic your design style might be.
For sure.
And then you pick,
Yeah. And I think it's important, like, look, I did a garden last year that it was more down my alley. It was still, I see, quite unique, but at the same time, it was sellable and went down the route of, you could literally transport that garden into someone else's...
Just drag it out.
Yeah, make it big or whatever, and use that plant palette. Whereas this year, it's kind of swinging for the fences a little bit more.
I like it. I think I'm glad you did do something different. I think, provided that it's not financially going to destroy you.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. I think it's great. It'd be good if there was more money for more people to do more things that challenge, and so it really just comes down to if people can get the support from suppliers and that, then they can take those risks. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, it would be good to see whether, Landscaping Victoria or IMG
or Landscaping South Australia, so the Master Landscapers in South Australia are hoping to be able to do something, but the challenge is you can't put a group together because then it's a lot of idea fighting. Yeah. And then they could do it out of joy. Yeah. They're all different styles, so then the association can't sponsor it because then it seemed to be doing it. So it's
sure. Yeah, it is tricky, but at the end of the day, there needs to be some level of funding to push the boundaries of this industry, and that's where it gets a little bit tricky.
You know, it would be interesting if you can get some real sugar daddy suppliers or really large landscaping companies that go, you know what, we're going to have a $20,000 scholarship so you bring us your designs, we'll choose one and we'll fund the build, even if it's for boutique. I think that'd be cool.
Oh, and I think those type of companies are out there, and they're passionate about seeing the industry get pushed in different directions, because I think it's important to have creative people push the boundaries. That's how we grow as humans. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's why I'm so glad that I've had the ability to kind of do something like this, because I know that my creative brain, it makes me happy to see something like this.
I think it's nice. You could definitely see it, even at this scale in a courtyard garden. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can transfer a lot of elements to this. You can potentially have a way, like if you put a membrane in the back of this to retain water and all that kind of stuff, it's possible.
Yeah, then it grows into its own thing.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and that'd be pretty cool to see something like this in the courtyard garden. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for letting us film and talking to me today.
No worries, man.
Hopefully this brings you millions of dollars worth of work.
I hope so too, mate.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, good luck with the rest of the show.
Thank you very much, man. Cheers.